All right, let's dive into some interview prep, shall we? Specifically for a career as an energy systems engineer.
Sounds good.
You got your sights set high, and we are here to equip you with everything you need to be totally prepped for that interview.
That's right.
So we've got a career guide for energy systems engineers.
Yes.
We've got an interview guide for energy systems engineers, and we'll be kind of weaving in some insights about RoleCatcher's AI platform, which can be a total game changer when it comes to interview prep.
Absolutely.
Don't forget that.
This field is all about making sure you know that energy is flowing efficiently, sustainably, and reliably.
Right.
And so your interview needs to demonstrate those same qualities.
I love that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's jump right in and unpack the first question that you might encounter in an interview for this role.
Okay.
Describe your experience with energy systems design and implementation.
Yes.
Now, I know this can feel a little intimidating, especially if you're just starting out in your career. So what are your thoughts on this? What is the interviewer really trying to get at here?
Well, what's really fascinating about this question is that the interviewer isn't necessarily looking for, decades of experience. They really want to see how you think, how you approach challenges, how you've applied your knowledge in this field.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So even if you've just assisted on projects,
Exactly.
like analyzing energy efficiency or developing solutions, that counts as experience, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The career guide even mentions that, entry-level energy systems engineers
Okay.
often get involved in research and development.
Okay.
Don't underestimate the value of that experience
For sure.
in an interview.
So when you're answering this question,
Yeah.
should you focus on a specific project or?
Yeah, pick a project that really showcases your skills and walk them through your role. You could say, in this project, I was responsible for analyzing the building's energy consumption data and identifying areas for improvement.
Okay.
And then elaborate on the challenges you faced,
Right.
how you overcame them, the technologies you used.
Right. And this is probably where RoleCatcher's AI could help
Definitely.
tailor that response even further.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, RoleCatcher analyzes specific job descriptions to highlight the skills they're looking for.
Okay.
It might suggest adding details about your experience with certain software or methodologies mentioned in the job posting.
That's super helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next question that you might encounter.
Yeah.
What is your approach to analyzing energy usage data? Now, this one feels pretty straightforward.
Right.
But I bet there's more to it than meets the eye.
You're right. It's not just about knowing how to read a graph or, just looking at data.
Yeah.
It's about showing that you can extract meaningful insights from that data. Right.
And then translate those insights into action.
The career guide really emphasizes the importance of reading comprehension and critical thinking.
Yes.
And those seem very spot on to this type of question.
Yeah, and then you can structure your answer like this. First, I'd gather data from sources like energy bills, sensor readings, building management systems.
Okay.
Then I'd use tools like, and here you mentioned the specific tool to identify patterns and anomalies.
Right. So don't just rattle off a list of tools.
Exactly.
Explain why you use those tools and what you would look for.
Exactly. And then connect those insights to real-world actions.
Okay.
So you might say, for instance, if I noticed a spike in energy use during off-peak hours, I'd investigate potential equipment malfunctions or inefficient scheduling.
I love that. It shows you're not just analyzing the data in a vacuum.
Right.
You're actually thinking about the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about staying up to date in this rapidly evolving field.
How would you answer this question?
Okay.
How do you stay current with the latest energy technologies and trends?
Yeah. This is where you demonstrate your passion for continuous learning.
Right.
So don't just say that you read industry publications. Mention specific publications or websites that you follow.
The career guide also recommends attending conferences and joining professional organizations like the Association of Energy Engineers.
Those are great options. You could even mention specific courses or certifications that you've completed.
Right.
Especially if they relate to the job that you're applying for.
And RoleCatcher can help identify those relevant certifications based on the job description.
Precisely. It might suggest highlighting your LED certification
Okay.
if the job emphasizes sustainable building practices.
So smart.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move on to a question that kind of tests your problem-solving skills.
Right.
How do you balance competing priorities when designing energy systems? Now, I imagine this comes up a lot, especially when you're juggling efficiency,
Right.
sustainability, and budget constraints.
So this question is all about demonstrating your ability to think strategically
Yeah,
and to make informed decisions.
I like that.
So don't just say that you're good at multitasking,
Right.
Showcase your process.
Right. The career guide actually highlights the importance of administration and management knowledge,
Exactly.
which makes sense. This is about managing projects effectively.
You could say, when faced with competing priorities, I first prioritize safety and regulatory compliance.
No.
Then I evaluate each priority based on its impact on project goals, budget, and timeline.
So you're laying out a clear framework
Exactly.
for decision-making rather than just saying,
Yeah.
I do it all.
You got it.
And you can add credibility by mentioning specific tools
Yes.
or techniques that you use, like project management software or stakeholder communication strategies. And this is where experience, even on smaller projects, can really shine through.
Absolutely.
All right, let's shift gears to safety,
Okay.
which is a critical aspect of this field. How would you approach this question? How do you ensure that energy systems are safe and compliant with regulations?
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is where those certifications and training really come in handy.
You're absolutely right. This is your chance to showcase your knowledge of safety protocols and your commitment to compliance.
Now, the career guide emphasizes the importance of engineering and technology knowledge,
Yes.
which includes, a strong grasp of those safety regulations.
Exactly.
So where do you even begin with answering a question like this?
Start by mentioning specific safety protocols that you're familiar with, whether it's lockout, tagout procedures or electrical safety guidelines.
So don't just say you follow safety regulations.
Right.
Show them that, what those regulations are and how you apply them
Exactly.
in practice.
You could say, I always ensure proper grounding and shielding to prevent electrical hazards, and I conduct regular inspections to identify potential safety issues.
I like that. It shows you're proactive and detail-oriented. And what if you don't know every single regulation?
Honesty is key.
Okay.
You can say, I'm committed to staying up to date with the latest safety regulations
Right.
through continuous learning and professional development. And of course, if you have any relevant certifications like OSHA training,
Right.
definitely mention those.
Those certifications are like gold.
Absolutely. They are. And again, RoleCatcher can help you identify which certifications are most valuable for specific roles.
Okay.
It might suggest highlighting your knowledge of NFPA 70,
Gotcha.
which is the National Electrical Code,
Okay.
if the job involves electrical systems design.
That's such a valuable tool for tailoring your responses. Okay, so we've covered some essential questions.
Related to experience data analysis, continuous learning, problem solving, and safety. And we're going to keep this momentum going as we dive into even more insightful interview questions in part 2 of our deep dive.
All right, sounds good. Welcome back.
Okay, so let's say the interviewer asks, how do you approach energy efficiency improvements in existing buildings?
Okay.
This one feels like it requires a really strategic mindset.
You're right.
Yeah.
They want to see that you understand building systems
Yeah.
and can identify areas for improvement.
The career guide really emphasizes the relevance of knowledge in building and construction engineering and technology, and even design for this.
Absolutely.
So where do you even begin with a question like this?
Well, you could start by laying out a structured approach.
Okay.
We can say, first, I'd conduct a thorough energy audit to identify areas of high energy consumption.
Okay.
Then I'd prioritize improvements based on their potential for energy savings, cost effectiveness, and feasibility. So it's about balancing all those different factors, making smart choices.
And then you can showcase your knowledge by discussing specific building systems.
Okay.
You might mention upgrading insulation,
Correct.
replacing inefficient lighting with LEDs,
Right.
or optimizing HVAC systems.
Right. And this is where experience with energy audits or building simulations could really come in handy.
Absolutely. If you've used any specific tools or software, like
Yeah.
energy modeling programs,
Yeah.
definitely mention them. It shows you're familiar with industry standard practices.
And I bet RoleCatcher could provide some suggestions
For sure.
for tailoring this answer to specific job roles as well.
Yeah, if the job description mentions experience with LED certification,
Okay.
RoleCatcher might suggest that you highlight your knowledge of LED principles
Right.
and how you would apply them to building retrofits.
It's all about making those connections.
Yeah.
And showing
Yeah.
them you've got the right skills.
Mm.
Okay, so let's shift to a question that's all about keeping the lights on.
Right.
How do you ensure that energy systems are reliable and resilient?
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling this is where your deep understanding of power systems
You've got it.
really comes into play.
Yeah. Reliability is paramount in this field.
Yeah.
And the interviewer wants to see that you can design systems that can withstand disruptions and continue to operate safely.
The career guide places a huge emphasis on engineering and technology knowledge
Right.
for this very reason.
You need to demonstrate a deep understanding of power systems, components, and design principles.
Okay.
You could start by saying, I always consider redundancy in critical components
Okay.
to minimize the impact of single points of failure.
So backup systems, alternative power
Yep,
sources, things like that.
We might also mention protective relaying
Yes.
to isolate faults, proper grounding and shielding to prevent electrical hazards, and regular maintenance and testing to identify potential issues.
It sounds like a very multifaceted approach.
It is.
It's essential.
And you can showcase your technical expertise by discussing specific design considerations, industry standards,
Okay.
or even advanced technologies you're familiar with.
Like microgrids.
Exactly.
Yeah, or smart grid technology.
If the job description mentions those,
Yeah.
make sure to highlight your knowledge in those areas.
This is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer.
That's right.
It can analyze those job descriptions and suggest which aspects of your experience to emphasize.
Exactly. It might suggest you mention your experience with fault analysis or power system modeling if those skills are highlighted in the job posting.
Okay, we've covered questions about efficiency improvements, system reliability, and now I'm curious how to handle a question like this. Describe a time you faced a challenging technical problem. How did you approach it?
Okay.
This feels like they're digging a little deeper
Right.
into your problem-solving ability.
That's spot on. This is your chance to demonstrate your analytical skills, creativity, and resilience.
So how do you pick the right example?
Choose a situation that was technically challenging and relevant to the job you're applying for.
Okay.
Briefly describe the problem, highlighting the technical aspects and why it was difficult.
So don't just say you fixed a bug or troubleshooted a problem.
Give them the technical details
Yeah.
to show you really understand the complexity
And walk them through your problem-solving process.
and then walk them through your problem-solving process.
Did you research solutions, consult with colleagues, develop a testing plan? The career guide mentions critical thinking as a very crucial skill,
Absolutely.
and it's definitely front and center here.
Emphasize how you systematically approached the problem,
Okay.
gathered information, analyzed potential solutions, and ultimately arrived at a resolution.
And I bet the interview guide cautions against taking all the credit yourself.
You're right. If you collaborated with others, acknowledge their contributions.
So it's not just about showcasing your technical brilliance.
Right.
It's about showing you can work effectively within a team.
Precisely. And don't forget to highlight the outcome.
Okay.
Did you successfully resolve the problem? What did you learn from the experience?
I love that. It shows you can reflect on your work and continuously improve.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about questions that delve into your personality and work style?
Yeah.
Let's say they ask, how would you describe your communication style? This one feels a bit trickier
Right.
because it's not directly related to
Yeah.
technical skills.
It's still an important question. Energy systems engineers often work in collaborative environments,
Yeah.
so effective communication is crucial.
The career guide mentions the importance of communication and teamwork,
Absolutely.
which makes perfect sense.
When answering this question, be honest and authentic.
Okay.
You could say, I believe in clear and concise communication. I'm a good listener, and I always make sure to clarify any misunderstandings.
So you're highlighting your ability to both convey information effectively and listen attentively.
Right. And you can tailor your answer to the specific communication styles valued in the role.
Okay.
If the job description mentions frequent presentations, you could highlight your public speaking skills.
That's where RoleCatcher's AI can really shine.
Exactly.
It can analyze those job descriptions and suggest which aspects of your communication style to emphasize.
It might suggest you mention your experience with technical writing
Okay.
or your ability to explain complex concepts to non-technical audiences.
So valuable.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to a question
That's
that
not-
explores your career aspirations.
All right.
What are your long-term career goals?
Mm-hmm.
I know this can be a tough one,
Right.
especially if you're just starting out.
It's a great opportunity to demonstrate your ambition,
Yeah.
your vision for the future, and how this particular role fits into your overall career trajectory.
So don't just say you want to be successful or make a lot of money.
Right. Think about what you're passionate about within the field of energy systems engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see yourself specializing in a particular area, like a renewable energy integration or energy storage?
Or maybe moving into a leadership position,
Exactly.
mentoring others, contributing to research and development.
Connect your goals to the company's mission and values.
Okay.
If they're focused on sustainability, highlight your interest in developing innovative clean energy solutions.
And don't be afraid to express your desire for growth and development
Absolutely.
within the company as well.
You can say, I'm eager to learn from experienced professionals and contribute to the company's success while advancing my career in this field.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground
We
in
have.
part 2 of our deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
We've tackled questions about building, efficiency, system reliability,
Yes.
problem-solving communication, and career goals.
Mm-hmm.
Let's shift gears in part 3 and explore some final tips and strategies for making a lasting impression.
Sounds good.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
We've covered so much ground
Yeah.
in this interview prep session.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's time to kind of wrap things up with some final tips
Okay.
to help you really nail that energy systems engineer interview.
That's right. We've talked about specific questions, how to showcase your experience, and how RoleCatcher can help you tailor your responses.
Right.
But there are a few more things you can do to really stand out from the crowd.
Okay, let's hear them. What are your top recommendations
Yeah.
for making a lasting impression?
First and foremost, research the company thoroughly.
Okay.
Go beyond just browsing their website.
Uh-huh.
Look into their recent projects,
Okay.
their mission statement, their values.
So show them you've done your homework
Exactly.
and you're genuinely interested in what
Mhm.
they do.
You can even weave your research into your answers. For example, if they're focused on renewable energy, you could mention a recent project
Okay.
they completed and express your admiration for their work in that area.
That's a great way to show them
Uh-huh.
that you're not just applying for any job.
Right.
You're specifically interested
Mhm.
in working for them.
And another important tip is to prepare some insightful questions to ask the interviewer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This shows you're curious, engaged, and thinking critically.
What kind of questions should you ask?
Avoid questions about salary or benefits.
Yeah.
Instead, ask questions that demonstrate your interest in the company's culture,
Okay.
their future plans, or the specific challenges of the role.
So questions like, what are the company's goals for the next 5 years? Or
Exactly.
what are the biggest challenges facing the energy systems engineering team right now?
Those kinds of questions show you're thinking about the bigger picture and you're genuinely interested in contributing to the company's success.
And what about those pesky nerves? Any tips for staying calm and collected during the interview?
Practice, practice, practice.
Okay.
The more you rehearse your answers, the more confident you'll feel.
Okay.
You can even do mock interviews with a friend or family member,
Right.
or use a platform like RoleCatcher to get feedback on your responses.
RoleCatcher's AI can be a lifesaver
It can.
when it comes to polishing those answers and identifying areas for improvement.
And remember, even experienced professionals get nervous before interviews.
Oh, for sure.
It's perfectly normal.
So don't beat yourself up.
Exactly.
If you stumble over a word or two, just take a deep breath.
Right.
Stay focused and let your passion for energy systems engineering shine through.
Exactly. And remember, interviews are a two-way street.
That's a good point.
It's not just about them evaluating you. It's also about you evaluating whether this is the right company and the right role for you.
So ask those insightful questions. Get a feel for the company culture and trust your gut.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And most importantly, be yourself.
Okay.
Let your enthusiasm, your knowledge, and your commitment to sustainable energy solutions shine through.
Well, there you have it. We've reached the end of our deep dive into
Yeah.
energy systems engineer interview prep.
We've explored common questions, strategic approaches,
Yeah.
and valuable resources to help you stand out from the crowd.
We hope you found this deep dive insightful and empowering.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, with thorough preparation, a positive attitude,
Yeah.
and a genuine passion for this field,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be well on your way to landing that dream job.
Absolutely.
And as you embark on your career in energy systems engineering, never stop learning,
Mm-hmm.
never stop challenging yourself,
That's right.
and never lose sight of the important role you play
Mm-hmm.
in shaping a more sustainable energy future.
Absolutely.
Best of luck in your job search.
Yes.
And we'll catch you on the next deep dive.